What's up, everybody? Did y'all miss me? Let's get right into it because this is a packed show today. Like the video as intro plays because we got a lot to get into.
I was listening to Make It Make Sense. Shout out to Make It Make Sense. Thank you for
Make Sense Mims who a lot.
Make It Make Sense.
What I love about Mims, Make It Make Sense. He's a YouTuber. He gets the court record, so he gets the cases.
Make it make sense. You know what was up.
You take the top, and I'll take the bottom. Just try it.
Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
Man of God, T.D. Jakes. Have you ever been swallowed? I would like to this nigga talking about dick sucking on the pulpit.
Y'all, I missed y'all too. It's just something I'm trying to, get my sleep and everything in order. That's why it hasn't been daily, but I'm going to be putting out more content and short form content for you guys as well. Thank you for riding it out with me, but not sleeping is ridiculous. Like, it's crazy. And with the whole hearing thing, it was a little bit overwhelming for a minute, but I'm back on track now. Let's start with the foolishness before we get into Drake. I know y'all saw this. I wanted to go live when I saw this. I want y'all's opinion. Who's right? Who's wrong?
I lift my hand in I lift my hands in. Hey. Stop her. Hush, hush. Silence in the name of Jesus. I lift my
It was the snap for me. So I talked to a few different church people from a few different denominations, and I got mixed reviews. Some people felt like if she was truly having the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit, then he could not have stopped her like that. Other people felt like it was disrespectful. I got a lot of people who said, this is why I don't go to church anymore. Look, I will say this. You're part of the choir, so you have a mic on. So whatever you do is going to be amplified. Now, could they have maybe cut her mic off? Probably, but they didn't. It was the snap for me. You can't snap your fingers. I don't like when people pointing my face. Then I started reading the comments, and some people from that church say she does that all the time. So maybe she is looking for a moment. I try not to tell people when they do get the Holy Ghost or don't get the Holy Ghost, but it was the finger snap. So then I talked to another church person who says that he's used to people snapping their fingers at the church. Some of y'all are saying it's disrespectful. The snap was rude. He said, be quiet or get the hell out. Take it to another room if it's that serious. She was just wailing, not speaking in tongues. She was distracting. I definitely get the distracting part. He was not wrong, but it's how he did it. Call the ushers for help. I mean, he does have authority. It is his church, but you couldn't snap at me. You can't snap at me, and I don't like a lot of fingers in my face. That would be a problem. That's rude, narcissistic, very rude. He about to sister act her into another convent. Nobody's raised the same these days. Yeah. Some people felt like what he did was okay. Some people wanted her to shut the hell up. And I don't know if you can say shut the hell up in church. Jessica, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. They both rude. They say she does this all the time. But I mean, she does give her time to the church and donates her time for the choir. And, you know, maybe she was feeling his gentle humblings. Somebody pointed out, he said he only is be quiet. It's time for the voice of the Lord. But then the only voice that was heard was his. Some people said that was his prophetic time. I don't know. I'm not that denomination, but I wanted to see what y'all had to say. We got like over 1,000 in the chat. Hit the like button. Now, this one, I can't even show you the whole video, but this was some crazy-ish.
Whole situation started yesterday when Jesus Dwelling Place Church was live streaming its service.
Okay, so that's as far as I can show you because on YouTube, you can't really show pow-pows. But it says, man enters church and tries to unalive pastor, but gun jams. Now, that's the voice of the Lord talking to somebody. That gun jamming was the voice of the Lord saving this man's life, who wasn't doing anything wrong, hadn't snapped at nobody. You just don't know what people are like thinking. It is so important these days to really pick and choose your battles. But yeah, he was just doing his preaching. I can't show you because they actually do show the weapon, but it says a church service in Pennsylvania was interrupted by a man who pulled out a gun and attempted to shoot the pastor, but it jammed. According to WTAE, this happened at Jesus Dwelling Place Church on Lobringer Avenue. So if any of y'all need to find a church, this is the place to go. Because the Lord is working all up and through this particular church. The Lord was there and saved this pastor's life. The church live streamed its services and captured the moment a man pulled out a gun and aimed it directly at Pastor Glenn Germany. I'm thankful to God that I'm still here because he definitely pulled that trigger. Germany told Pittsburgh Action News 4 that he had never seen the gunman before Sunday. He says he noticed the gunman frequently coming in and out of the church, even giving the pastor eye contact. That's when the unexpected happened. Court paperwork identified the suspect as Bernard Polite. What an interesting name. 26 of Braddock. According to the criminal complaint, Polite confessed to police that he tried to shoot Germany because God told him to do it and that he wanted to go to jail to clear his mind. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Shockingly, when police searched Polite's home on Sunday evening, a body was found. Police said a man was shot to death inside. Early Monday morning, I can't pronounce that, Allegheny County Medical Examiner's Office identified the man found shot to death in that home as Derek Polite, 56, a relative of Bernard. This is such a bizarre case. Now, that's the devil. The Lord didn't tell him to do nothing except turn himself in. Italian girls, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Something else absolutely crazy, but not so dark. Keisha Cole then got back with Honcho. Somebody hit me up and was like, so you saying that older women can't date younger men? I said, I never said that. I said Cher did it successfully. I said Jim Jones' mama did it successfully and wrote a book about it. But I said Keisha, it's not working for her. And I told her to date outside the industry. If she wants to, date these little young dudes, date these little young dudes. She's 24. She's 42. He's 24. But just maybe leave the industry dudes alone because they're not doing Keisha right. She's been to jail over industry dude, multiple children, divorce, all industry. She's too beautiful and she has a name and her own money. She could date anybody, just maybe not the industry. So you over here wearing Honcho's chain that gloss up the other 20-something-year-old that he was dating was just wearing. This is not a flex. It's not a flex.
You thought you ate with that shit? It didn't eat.
It didn't eat. I don't even know what you're thinking. You see how beautiful this woman is? That's what 42 looks like. She does not need to be dating some new rapper who has multiple women and multiple children. I don't get it.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Like, it shouldn't even be a fight. It shouldn't even be a fight. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So let's get right into this. So it says, security guard injured in shooting outside Drake's home in Toronto. The police said that they did not know whether the shooting was related to the recent exchange of increasingly personal diss tracks traded between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. A man identified as a security guard for Drake was wounded in a shooting. We now know that he was actually shot in the chest. Outside the rapper's Toronto mansion. The man was taken. Let me make it bigger. Oh, I did make it bigger. The man was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound. Inspector Paul Krowski, a member of the Gun and Gang Task Force, said at a news conference at the scene on Tuesday morning. The suspects fled in a vehicle and remained at large. The police did not offer a description, but said the shooting had been captured on video. I would have assumed that Drake, I have seen Drake's Mega Mansion. When he first had it built, he showed what his future wife's closet was going to be, and it was already like filled with every Birkin you can imagine. I just remember that, and it was a lot of like gaudy marble. But this is a 50,000 square foot home in Toronto. But how is there not like a gate? That's some crazy-ish. And the guy was like 48. The security guard was like 48 years old. The man was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound. A member of the Gun and Gang Task Force said at the news conference. The shooting occurred outside the gates in front of Drake's 50,000 square foot mansion on Park Circle Lane in the North York neighborhood known as Brittle Path in Toronto, but it did not involve the rappers. Drake was previously permitted to build fences twice as high as allowed by the city, citing a need for increased security. The shooting followed a weekend of increasingly personal diss tracks traded between Drake and the Compton, California rapper Kendrick Lamar, whose long, simmering musical rivalry resulted in the release of 6 songs in 72 hours, including detailed tracks involving family members and claims of abuse against women on both sides. I cannot speak to the motive at this time, but it is so clear, but it's so early. But as we get information, we will share it with you. He said that he could not confirm whether Drake was home at the time of the shooting, but that authorities had been in contact with the rapper's team, which was cooperating. The police said the victim, who was not identified, remained at the hospital in serious condition. This is nothing to joke about. This is nothing to laugh about. We've seen this movie before, and it ends with Biggie and Tupac. Oh, y'all are thinking that it's staged? But the man is literally in the hospital. So he staged something and shot a man. So Kendrick did release his address. I mean, a lot of people knew where Drake lived, but you never really know. We just saw what happened at the church. People get so engrossed in this shit that they don't have like reasoning. Y'all think this is staged? I don't think it's staged, y'all. Yeah, I don't think it's staged. One of my homeboys, he don't have no money at all. Randomly, his apartment complex got shot up. Yeah, I don't think it was. Y'all are really thinking it was okay. Well, that's one of those we're gonna have to agree to disagree, because there's a 48-year-old man in serious condition with gunshot wounds to his chest. I think that the Kendrick and Lamar rap feud has been entertaining. I've gotten multiple pictures of the same little girl who people are saying is his 11-year-old daughter. If you are a YouTuber and you are watching this, release those photos at your own risk. If you release an 11-year-old's photos on YouTube, I know they did it on TikTok. TikTok is the wild, wild west over there. If you do it on YouTube and you read the bylines of your, user agreement with YouTube, that's considered exploitation of a child, and they could take your channel. Just FYI. You don't want to release those photos of that little girl on YouTube. I know it's all over TikTok. There are certain things that I just won't do. Well, somebody said that child pictures all over YouTube. Well, they are all risking their channels. Now, in terms of the allegations of Drake being with like 16-year-olds and all this other stuff, that was a whole lot. That hit. So this was the photo, or this was the video of Drake, but Drake was super, super young at the time. The girl was 17. They released this, and he was on stage and allegedly did not know her age until after. This is the woman in present day. She says, regarding that video that's going around, I was 17 back then and I'm 31 now. This was a concert that my dad took me to in high school. Drake's entourage actually picked me out from the crowd of people, not Drake himself. By the way, performers always bring up fans on stage. It's part of their show. It was nothing then and still nothing now. Now that I've cleared up these false narratives, I'm going back to study for my law school exams. Wish me luck. She's a pretty lady. He was 23, somebody says. Drake has also released messages that Metro Boomin had that aren't great. Let me where is it? I'm like, it's getting nasty. But I still never heard either of these rappers threaten physical violence. I don't think that Kendrick put a hit out on Drake. I don't think it was that serious to Kendrick. I don't think that Drake would put out a hit on Kendrick. I think that this really was a drive-by, but I think that it was just a crazy fan who got the address and ran with something that they should not have. It should never get to the point where things are getting physical. We've seen Drake and Chris Brown almost have a physical fight over Rihanna years ago. We know Diddy slapped Drake over a song. We know Lil Wayne slapped Drake over sleeping with his girlfriend while he was in prison. And some of those, that Lil Wayne slap was deserved. But in terms of somebody potentially losing their life over some rap beef, it should never get there. Where is it? There was a whole lot of stuff that he released on Metro Booming, and it was a lot of stuff about young people and young kids, and it's not a good look. Here we go. It said, oop, old tweets from Metro Boomin and Drake resurfaced amid their beef. She might be young, but she ready. I'll show him a real predator. I'm trying to tell that age ain't nothing but a number. So Drizzy says, Predator weak as hell in this movie. LL, put me in there and I'll show them a real predator. Like, ugh. Metro Boomin says, the things I would do to Sierra are probably illegal. I'm trying to tell that age ain't nothing but a number. She might be young, but she ready. Maybe even for the crew. If I get a chick that wants me to get her some mollies, is that guaranteed pussy? Sorry, hold on. Let's see. Got your little sister on them mollies. She done ran through the whole squad. She trying to throw molestation charges at ninjas. Leland's little girls. LOL, I can't be a pedophile at 15. I mean, and I'm tweeting via web like a effing child molester. Walking through the grocery store with both hands in my khakis like a true pedophile. So, now these are just tweets. There's no actual allegations of him doing any of these things, but it's not a good look, and it's really nothing that you want to joke about and have on the internet for perpetuity. A-Rod says, I don't think it was staged, but I do think it's Kendrick related. Either it's for clout or prior beef and taking advantage. I still don't think that Kendrick would have I don't think that Kendrick would have done that. I just think that it was some fans. It's like the fans who, after Nicki Minaj made Bigfoot and the fans tried to go to Megan's mom's grave. I don't need to see no more like Biggie Tupac stuff going down. Guys, we got like 2,500 in the chat. So because I haven't been going on, it's really important to please hit that like button. Again, it's a free way to support the channel, and it kind of lets YouTube know that I'm here. So we got like 2,500 like here, but we only have like 500 likes. So let's try to get to 1,500. Shan says it's supposedly over the ongoing beef between him and the Weeknd manager Cash XO. His house was shot up and the security guard was injured. Thank you, Shan, and thanks for being a member for a month. Is that Shan and Van or Shan? War Princess says, I don't think it was staged. Also, if someone wanted to take a shot at Drake, they know K-Dot would get the blame. It's the perfect cover. That's a good point. If there was ever a time to blame it on somebody else, it would be when they're in a rap beef. That's a good. You thinking? You thinking? But yeah, I don't think it was Kendrick, y'all. I really don't, and I don't think that this rap beef is. I don't think this rap beef is worth it. Boosie chimes in. Boosie says Boosie slams people for hyping Kendrick and Drake beef. They talking about children and baby mamas. Boosie says, I never seen so many men excited to see men tearing each other down through music. Shake my head. The men are more excited than the women. I came in the casino, MFN leave this girl and asking me, Boosie, who do you think going down, Drake or Kendrick? Like, that's what you're thinking about with the baddie on your side? Question for the world. Do y'all really want one of these great artists' career done because they lost a rap battle? Well, it low-key kind of happened between 50 Cent and Kanye. After they had their little thing, 50 never recovered. Just playing. Don't troll me, 50. I'm just joking. Don't troll me. I'm just playing. One of them still does have a rap career, which would be Kanye, but 50 moved on to other business prospects where he don't have to work as hard as the rappers. Y'all want all what they have done for hip hop overshadowed by rap beef. They talking about children, baby mamas, dirt, fiancés, molestation, pedophiles, etc. Now, Boosie, I don't know if this is the right message. I don't know if this was the right message because I'm never going to forget. Rapper Boosie Badass claims he paid for sex for his 14-year-old son. The Baton Rouge, Louisiana-based rapper took to Instagram to deliver a disturbing, explicit rant. Hell yeah, I got my effing son de-sucked, whose real name is Torrance. I'm training them boys right. So you paid an adult sex worker to sleep with your 12 to 13-year-old son and nephew. Because it says 14 in the caption, but what Boosie actually said was, I'm training them boys right. Said, ask any of my nephews, ask any of them, ask my son. Yeah, when they was 12 and 13, they got oral. That's how it's supposed to be. So Boosie, I don't know if you got a leg to stand on. Sorry, let me show y'all so y'all don't think I'm just making this up. Boosie Badass claims he paid for sex for his 14-year-old son. 12, 13 for the little cousins too. So I don't really know. They rapping about it, but you openly admitted to it. So I don't know. I'm gonna leave that right there. But I agree with him in the sense that I wouldn't want to see either of their careers over. So when I'm looking at this rap beef, it's almost Remy and Nicki Minaj. Nicki, Drake being the more commercially successful rap, pop, crossover appeal. Remy and Kendrick being actual lyricists. It feels oddly familiar. A lot of people were saying that Kendrick's his diss tracks weren't ready for the airplay. Well, I don't know. The one that got the dance, the one that came out Sunday, I out and about, and I saw everybody was listening to that song. So I don't know, but I really don't think that it should end either of their careers. But based on this, I don't think this is cool. GoFundMe's having to take down Drake funeral pages where they are asking for money to help Drake pay for his funeral. It's a funny, haha, I guess, prior to his house getting shot up. Now, I don't really think it's funny. Drake is a lyricist too, but you get what I'm saying. Drake is very commercial in a way that very few people actually are. Both have hits. I'm not saying that. Who do I think won? I think Kendrick won. Now Remy over here talking about
So now why am I in it? And you could have did it. See, I get thrown in the never apologize.
Yes, Kendrick Lamar does have a very substantial career. I wasn't saying that Kendrick was Remy Lamar. I think Kendrick has like 17 Grammys. Yeah, I just consider him like a real lyricist. I don't know. Not saying that Drake isn't a lyricist, but comparing the two, I think Drake is commercial, and I think that Kendrick is more of a lyricist. But that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to start no beef with y'all. Let's get into academics. Now, y'all, let's see. It says Akademiks cuts off stream while talking about Drake La La Lace case. The last few minutes of Akademiks' live stream were absolutely wild. He was breaking down, rebuking Kendrick's diss, and got to the "Have you ever paid $500,000 for an open case?" which many believe relate to the sexual assault allegation and that Drake settled, and then he countersued for. AK was watching videos about the case and pulled up text messages between Drake and Layla Lace, reading them because they paint the relationship as consensual. Then AK looks at his computer, goes quiet for about a minute, and asks what new music is out. Then he gets back to the text, and a minute or so later, freezes up again, says, "Give me a minute," and then ends the stream. Who y'all think was calling Akademiks? Who do y'all think was calling Akademiks? And why would he end the stream? Because Akademiks was like everywhere this weekend with this rap beef. I'm talking 500,000-600,000 views. Why would he end his stream after getting a text message and know like, hey, I'm gonna come back, nothing? It says, seems like someone told AK to shut the F up about the case, so naturally internet is about to start digging. Now, you guys remember I gave you the specifics. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It was all in the case. Basically, Drake did not want her talking about his specific oral fixation. Now, what we're unclear on is if that fixation involves him already finishing in her mouth and then making her spit it in a cup that he measured. And then, well, first, I don't know if y'all may not have heard my video the other day, but some of y'all may not want to hear this because it's, I guess, a little bit more detailed. But I'll tell you anyway. So she wasn't really clear when we read it, but it was either he finishes in her mouth, she has to spit it in a cup that he has measured, and then that mixture is then thrown in her face. He did not want that stuff out, and he also did not want her talking about her alleged pregnancy.
Are you that you're pregnant by Drake and not somebody else?
Let me tell you something. And I'm going to just make this clear because, you know, I have been asked that before.
Mm-hmm.
I have a child, okay?
Okay.
I'm a mother already, okay? I know who I sleep with unprotected, period.
Mm.
So it's 100% sure he knows it. So at the end of the day, I'm going to just leave it at that, you know?
And when you approached him about it, because you told him you were pregnant,
right?
What was his response to that information?
He pretty much was just like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And then I told him, and then he pretty much was like, "I'm gonna call you back," and the phone calls just stopped.
Now, okay, I read through what was available because Drake countersued her. She first alleged that she was pregnant, And Drake told her, well, if the baby's mine, then okay. Drake acknowledged that it was consensual. He never touched on the whole measured cup thing. But then he has messages where she then bought tickets to try to come see him at his next concert stop. And he was not interested. It was more like a one and done kind of thing. And then after that, it turned into allegations of the R word. So in this situation, I don't even know what to believe, but he did settle. He did not acknowledge any wrongdoing. It was $350,000, not $500,000. And she then eventually said, I feel like my lawyer and Drake and them were in cahoots. So she tried to sue her attorney. In her initial whatever paperwork you have to fill out in support of why you are suing somebody for your new attorney, that's where she put the allegations about Drake in. So then some people feel like that voided out her NDA, because then she disclosed again specifically what happened with all the oral fixation. I didn't,
Everything stopped.
How long did it stop before you? How sure?
So I don't know why Akademiks doesn't strike me as a person who, Akademiks says whatever. If you ever watch this stuff, he's going to just say exactly what he wants to say. So for him to get messages and then just abruptly stop his live stream, it makes me feel like it was maybe somebody in Drake's camp. And Drake is more powerful than, people want to give him credit for. Lisa Mooney says, a drive-by for a house you can't drive by. The gates are taller than any other structure. How did the guard get shot? He sits outside the gate, just weird. Those are some weird things to think about. Let's see if we can find out if he lives in a gated community. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. Okay, we got the address. On Park Circle Lane in North York neighborhood. Is North York neighborhood in Toronto gated? It doesn't automatically pull up. Let's see. North York, Toronto. $19 million, $17 million, $22 million. Seems like a nice neighborhood, but it's not saying that it's specifically gated. So if you know if it's gated, let me know. And even with gated communities, people do still get robbed and stuff. So I can't say that, oh, it's not gated. His house has a gate though. So I guess anybody can pull up there. We'll see. Okay, so let's get into this because this pissed me off. I'm not the biggest fan of DJ Vlad anyway, so maybe I might be a little biased. But this weekend, DJ Vlad got into it with a black woman who happened to work for Princeton University. And this is what he had to say. Where is it? I had it up. Okay. Here we go. DJ Vlad says, wait, so a professor at Princeton is telling me that a white person shouldn't be allowed to voice their opinion about hip hop. Is that how you interact with your students? Now notice he's adding Princeton. He then goes on to say, don't try to change your words now. I'll be reaching out to Princeton about this on Monday. Again, tagging the school. He says it's called a permanent record. Every university has one. I went to Berkeley myself. People spew ignorant and bigoted comments at you publicly and then act like they're getting bullied when they get a response. Typical victim mentality. Go ahead and take that, Princeton, out of your profile, sweetie. You just admitted it's not even true anymore. LOL. And then he says, good luck being a professor at Princeton again. I doubt the university supports the faculty telling non-Black students to shut the F up about anything hip-hop related because of their skin color. Now, she's not talking to a non-Black student at her university. She's talking to you, who is known as a culture vulture, and in some circles, a rat. Here's my issue. I get a certain amount of hate too, because every time I say something about somebody's favorites, they're mad. But I understand it comes with the territory now. You have 5 million people. Everything you do involves Black culture. This isn't the first time that you've heard something like this. So why would you even threaten a Black woman's job who works at an Ivy League institution because her opinion wasn't something that you liked? That's the definition of a rat. I don't get it. I don't get it. So he's reposting Black people who agree with him. So he reposted this lady. He said he wasn't even commenting on anything culturally relevant to the battle. He was talking about the mix quality. Vlad was tweeting his opinion on his own timeline, not bothering anyone, just like everyone else. She decided to seek him out and tell him he couldn't have an opinion because he's white, and now she's the victim. Oh, okay. So that's Christy Tillman. She says that she's only going back and forth with people who she respects. So y'all, and she got, after Vlad reposted that, she got 1.5 million views, 1,700 likes. But then other people were in this lady's corner, and her name is Morgan Jenkins. Somebody said, stop the cap. You were never trolled. You were corrected, and your fragile ego couldn't cope. The best you can do at this point is apologize and mind your business in the future. So Vlad comes back and says, since it's Monday, let me clear the air and state that I never had any intention of filing complaint to Princeton for a former professor. Notice he said former. For former professor Morgan Jerkins saying that white people aren't allowed to comment on Kendrick Lamar's music. She trolled me and I trolled back. At the end of the day, it created an interesting discussion about race relations in America. I will be discussing it further in my future interviews. He did not tag Princeton because now he knows that she's not there. But I feel like Vlad was seriously going to try to get this Black woman like in trouble at work. We see the tags. Like, I don't get it. Are we supposed to be this stupid? Now you got people shinning and grinning for you like Boosie because you pay for interviews, but I mean, somebody said I never had any intention, as he tagged the employer at least 5 times. Man is still harassing her indirectly by trying to contact her family for probably interviews, or still harassing her, even both. Kick rocks, and you are not wanted here. Morgan came back and said a lie. He tagged my employer multiple times with the intention to professionally harm me. I didn't troll. I centered Black people in a discussion on hip hop and told him to stand down because it's not his place. He's backtracking because he miscalculated. She seems like a lady with a good head on her shoulder to me. Somebody said you forgot to tag Princeton on this one. So you're baiting Black people to be triggered by our experiences so you can have content. That's evil work. You're done. This ninja literally weaponized his whiteness to prove a point that he could. And y'all in the comments like, go Vlad. Boy playing a dangerous game. Certain folks react to certain shit different. Ross spared him for telling. Not everybody gonna do that. You weaponized your whiteness against a Black woman, just like a Karen. We knew you were all along. Somebody said DJ Karen should be his new name. Yeah. So who are y'all thinking one? There was one by Mark Lamont Hill. Had Mark Lamont Hill had responded, but I don't see it right off the bat. I just think it's trash. I say go back and forth with her if that's what you want to do. She's on your timeline. She's talking to you. Go back and forth with her or have that discussion. But to threaten her job because she doesn't agree with you having so many opinions on Black culture, a lot of people have that opinion. So should they all be fired? I'm sure of the 3,000 people we got in here, at least 2,000 don't really F with you, Vlad. Deal with it. People don't like me either. It's a part of the game. Afro Butterfly, Certified Lover Boy was a confession. Thank you, Afro Butterfly. Ms. B, thanks for being a member. She said, stop it. Not like us, cover art is the color marker identifier for sex offenders, not headshots. Nice try though. Attitude Alpha. So I guess y'all are going at it in the comments. Honey Hatter says, does it make sense to profit off someone else's demise? Rappers need to do better and band together. I agree. The industry, male and female, everybody's beefing. Questions everything. DJ Vlad is not a DJ or a producer. He's failed at everything music related except being an informant. So why speak? Also, Tisa has pics of those babies. Okay. Not commenting on that last part. That's not my business. So yeah, look, I absolutely side with the young lady in this situation. Y'all had an Instagram issue and you tried to turn it into something more than it was and threatened her job. I think that's trash behavior. And I totally believe if you had not found out that she was no longer with Princeton, that you would have continued tagging Princeton in hopes that your people would have made so much of a fuss that it would have got people in trouble. We all know what it means to utilize your base to target somebody. We're not, at this point, we know the game. That's why when YouTubers do that, they run the risk of getting their channel taken. That's another one of those things that's in the bylaws. You cannot like weaponize people to go after somebody. I'm trying to tell y'all. Let's get to this trash box. Brian McKnight got Ricky and Tyrese going at it now. This is what he had to say.
So lastly, this week, I want to big up my man right here. See, he gets it. In order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of the evil and the negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related. We want everyone to live a life that you love. Our hashtag, that's what it means. Hashtag I love our life. But in order to do that, you have to get rid of all that evil and negativity. There's so many angry and upset and negative people.
Y'all say, I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm foolish. Y'all remember I was telling you how they say influencers be taking photos in Rolls Royces? Well, here you go. Look at Brian McKnight's head. That's not even a normal way for your head to be moved. You're wanting people to see you in a Rolls Royce.
This how girls take pictures in a Rolls truck.
Now try to listen to what Brian McKnight is saying without thinking about that.
Out there, we want to use our platform as a place of positivity, a positivity platform. So hopefully, I mean, who knows, next week, maybe I'll only respond to positive comments. We'll see. We'll see you next week.
No, you won't. If you see them, it's going to be on Instagram, not at a concert, because the bullshit you've been spewing about your children has now impacted your bottom line. It said Brian McKnight concert canceled after crooner is trolled by Detroit fans over family drama. Is Brian McKnight's familiar war against his older biological children starting to affect his livelihood? This is up for debate after one of his recent concerts in Detroit was forcibly canceled following a slew of backlash over him being an alleged deadbeat father. It was announced that via Facebook that Anytime Crooner was scheduled to perform at the Motor City Casino Hotel Soundboard Theater, but some were calling for his retirement, telling him to bring his kids and we might come. Another chimed in, wouldn't even go for free. As someone else commented, F. Brian McKnight. but used tomato emojis instead of spelling out the expletive. The post has since been deleted. I do know that he plays like a lot of small casinos. I know he played one in Louisiana, in Lake Charles, and the people said they were not impressed. So maybe it's time. So if you don't know the saga that's going on with Brian McKnight, this is Brian McKnight's original family. That is his wife, Julie, and their 2 sons. The older son is in music. Julie is in music. She still tours. I've not heard anything about her tours getting canceled. She does, like, if you remember like the early 90s, like high energy, some techno, it felt like some Afrobeat, some pop. She still performs. She still does all that. Brian is the only one whose show is getting canceled. I have spoken to Julie and I have spoken to the older son. I can't remember why our interview didn't go through. I don't know if it was scheduling conflicts on my part or their part, but both seem like really nice people. The older son is now a father as well. When there was another child that came, I believe, during the marriage with Julie, and they accepted her and her mother as family. Brian has since made comments about that young girl having a sexual relationship with her cousin, which was not true, and she was able to successfully, I think they settled. I can't remember if she sued, but there was a claim, he lied, and there was a settlement. So he has disowned her. He's disowned his 2 sons with Julie. I don't know what his relationship is with Julie, but it's all really trash. It's one thing to say, I want toxicity out of my life, and this part of my family is toxic, so I'm going to move away from them. But he is doing this very publicly, which gives me the impression that you are trying to hurt. And I think it's effed up. Even in the interviews that Julie and the sons have done, they really try to stay positive. They don't really touch on him and what's going on with him. This ain't a Monique and her son where you talk about me, I'm going to get you back. There's no lick backs with them. They've been really classy about this. Brian now has a new family and a new baby who he has named Brian McKnight Jr., even though there was a Brian McKnight Jr., his oldest son. He's just really trash. So Ricky Smiley chimed in, and I want you guys to hear, before you hear Tyrese, of all people, giving his rebuttal. Where is it? Here we go. Wait, I had it. Here we go.
In the same video. So we just want to say to the kids, stay prayed up, stay close to God, and understand that God is your real daddy. He's all of our real daddy. He's our daddy's daddy and our granddaddy's real daddy. We serve an awesome God that will see you through anything, and that will see that that you will supply all your needs. He's a heart fixer, and he's a mind regulator. And I know he's a mind regulator because it's been days where I feel like I was going crazy, and he get my mind right back on track. So just continue to love God and continue to trust God and lean on him for everything that you don't understand. And don't even try to understand. Just lean on him, get therapy, and just try to make sure that when you have your kids, that you are the total opposite of what you have experienced in the same video. So we just want to say to the kids, stay prayed up, stay close to God, and understand that God is your real daddy. He's all of our real daddy. He's our daddy's daddy and our granddaddy's real daddy. We serve an awesome God that will see you through anything, and that will see that that you will supply all your needs. He's a lot when when things like this are said, it's a bell that cannot be unrung. So if anybody know Brian McKnight, kids, sons, and daughter, we really celebrate dads where I live. And in my household, we had over years and years and years have raised kids that don't have a dad, or dad got killed, or just, hey, I don't want to be a dad, or whatever. That's what we do. We are some of the best father figures and uncles and anything you need. So just to let y'all know, just put that out there. I'm not here to, we already tackled that part, talking about what he did, but I don't want to do that.
Okay, so I see some people in the comments talking about the Weeknd's manager. It wasn't the Weeknd's manager. It was a bodyguard tied to the Weeknd. And the bodyguard was not actually bodyguarding for the Weeknd. He was bodyguarding for, was Aman? Hold on. Let me get you the real name. Amir Esmilian, an Iranian-Canadian music executive and co-manager of music artist The Weeknd. So he wasn't really with The Weeknd, but it was a security guard tied to him, and he was shot at Amir Ismailin's home. We got to do better. Like, y'all know my thoughts on gun violence.
Talk about that and offering something to them in life when when things like this are said. It's a bell that cannot be unrung.
Amen.
So if anybody know Brian McKnight, kids, sons, and daughter, everything they need, but I know that y'all are older. But if y'all ever feel any kind of way, or you feel unloved and need male figure, father figure, there's people out here like myself, and I know I can vouch for my brother from another mother, Ben Crump, and others. We would be more than happy to have you. You are not thrown away. You are not garbage. You are loved. You are to be respected. And there's a lot of group of men out here waiting to stand with you and make sure you have everything that you need. We are not here to try to replace your father, which that can't be done, but we can be something to you. To just make sure you go on into your adulthood and live your life and get you the help and therapy that you need so that you can move on, because words hurt and stuff like this hurt.
Y'all remember Ricky has lost a child, and the most hurtful thing that can happen to a parent is for your child to pass before you. So what Brian McKnight is doing is probably hitting him in a way that Brian McKnight didn't even expect to do. Like, but you're putting this out on social media. Why? You're consistently doing it. It's almost it feels manic. Like, what would be your point of consistently trashing people in a public domain that don't trash you? It's sick. And I'm glad that somebody like Ricky Smiley came out against it.
Everything they need, but I just want to say to Brian McKnight, kids, to all of his kids, the ones that he said that's born out of evil or born in evil, whatever he said, whatever he claims, or whatever, let you know that you have a lot of support out here. We here at the Ricky Smiley Morning Show support you. If anybody get this message out to Brian McKnight, 2 sons and daughter, you are always welcome to the state of Alabama, to the great state of Alabama, where you have men and you have uncles and you have a lot of people in Birmingham that take on kids that have been abandoned by fathers. I've seen a lot of it, even with watching Little League football coaches that spend their own time, money, and resources into trying
details about the cheating or infidelity or the physical, emotional, psychological abuse. They're going on and going into specific details with the child or children because they do not understand the line between being a specific parent. A father and a mother is not friends with a child. You can develop a friendship with your child or children, but that is not your friend. That is your son. That is your daughter.
If you develop a friendship with someone, doesn't that make you a friend? I think sometimes people try to sound so deep that the shit that they say, they don't even realize they're just spewing shit out. Like you try to be so deep and so woke, and then it just
not to ever have the roles or the dynamics of the roles to ever be crossed or blurred. You can't go out tonight. Why I can't go out tonight? We all know what it is. And if we have never experienced disrespectful kids, today's kids are out of their minds.
Real interesting coming from you.
About the cheating or infidelity or the physical, emotional, psychological abuse. They're going on and going into specific details with the child or children because they do not understand the line between being a specific parent. A father and a mother is not friends with a child. You can develop a friendship or young adults or even grown folks are enmeshed, and there is parenting alienation between the man trying to alienate the child or children from the mother, or the mother brainwashing, poisoning, or trying to brainwash and alienate the kids or the adults from the father. That is a real thing. When you are enmeshed.
So in responding to Ricky Smiley's response to Brian McKnight, you know for a fact that Julie McKnight has poisoned her children against Brian McKnight. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? So you know that to be true?
Which again, you should Google it by definition, read it on the airwaves to educate people. When parents are enmeshed.
Y'all, he learned enmeshed, and that's his word for the day. That's really why he got on here. He wanted y'all to know that he knew words and he still had his thesaurus, and not the one on your phone. He has the paper because that makes you smarter when you have the book.
With their kids or teens or young adults or adults, they lose sight of the dynamic between being a parent and a child or children. They talk to them about everything.
What would that have to do with Brian McKnight alleging to the world on social media that his daughter had a sexual relationship with a cousin? What explain that part?
They go into all of the specifics and detail. Are young adults jailed for getting in full-on fights with their kids who grow up, who think they can talk to them and treat them any kind of way, stealing money, flirting with their girl or their wife inappropriately while they're in new relationships, crossing the line, doing all kind of shit that can make the dynamic between you and your daughter or your son completely off limits. Let's go even further. And I know a thing or two, so consider me a professional in this department.
Now, every time Tyrese gets out of a relationship with the woman, that woman is dirt on earth. We never hear about him having great relationships. His children's moms, I don't feel like a child should. I think it was like $10,000 a month. Tyrese is the person who said he did not want to pay $10,000 a month for his child support, even though his child support was contingent upon his salary. He's also the same guy who buys Range Rovers for his girlfriends and openly admitted to going to Home Depot and spending $1 million at a time when he just wants to change up his backyard. But keeping your children at a certain level that you are is a problem. $10,000 a month for a kid that's in private school in LA, Worry about that. He says he's not working right now. Worry about not having a job.
I want you guys to Google these words that a lot of you guys have never heard of.
Who is
all the
listening to
therapists,
him?
all of the psychiatrists, especially all of the family law attorneys, please chime in. Parenting alienation.
Does he look like he hasn't slept?
Google it. Enmeshment. When kids fail for getting in full-on fights with their kids who grow up, who think they can talk to them and treat them any kind of way, stealing money, flirting with their girl or their wife inappropriately while they're in new relationships, or do whatever. Man, kids out here be saying some fucked up, bruh.
Adults too. They sit in a dark room and go live and say some effed up.
Kids out here be crossing you and doing and saying and going above and beyond to cross you. I do not know what that man and that woman or his kids or anything.
Well, you're speaking like you know
about anything. Like, I literally know Brian.
So he's your friend. So of course, because he's your friend, then he could not be the asshole that you see him being online. Again, this only started because he came out and said these things online. Julie and her children were not saying stuff like this about him. He started it, and they have yet to really truthfully respond. So maybe I will reach out to Julie and see if she wants to come on and actually clear the air, because I don't think she's done that as of yet. So Tyrese, shut up.
I have not had one conversation with Brian McKnight about his wife, his kids, or anything that went down between them, nor is it my business, nor is it my place to ask him. What happened, man?
So why are you talking about it? Because you know him, so you've just decided to vouch for him, even though he's never told you anything wrong that his children did? You then just said all this stuff about people flirting and back talk and the mom poisoning the mind, but now you're saying that you never even spoke to him about this. So how the F would you know?
What's going on? This and that. None of my business. What I am addressing and talking about is I feel like it is not fair to act as if relationships between men and their children that at some point become adults can't fall apart, can't become extremely volatile and toxic. Listen, man, I know dudes that are in jail or do what I want to address.
Tyrese. Somebody said, you're talking about it too. Yes, I'm giving commentary based on what was said. And unlike Tyrese, I have actually talked to the parties involved about this topic, i.e. the other side of the spectrum. And I can say that they have not spoken about these things publicly, like Brian McKnight has. So yes, nigga, sir, I am talking about it. But unlike Tyrese, I have spoken to the parties involved. Let's see. Next Speaks Life. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And again, thanks for the super chat. There's nothing I can do to make my dad publicly show hate towards me. He's a sad case. Black father catch enough hell. He needs to stop. I agree. Waddle says, I feel for Ricky. He recently lost his child, so seeing someone disrespect their own children like that is probably unimaginable. Absolutely agree. Now, I haven't read Booty Butter's comment yet. Booty Butter says, Brian Jose San Juan McKnight had some of that chalupa casserole and never looked back on his colored kid. No comment. I will say that chalupa is the only thing I order from Taco Bell now. That's the only menu item I still order. Shay W. Hey, Mims. Hey, straight shooters. Brian McKnight is Reddit cliche, abandoning your first family for your new family. Yeah, he's trash, in my opinion. Kay says, say no to drugs, sir. Now, I don't know that man is on drugs, but he's on something. Anyway, y'all know. Oh, it's an hour. I gotta go. But we'll talk tomorrow. And a lot of you guys are saying stuff about the Encino home. I have it pulled up real quick.
Breaking news: a security guard has been shot in Encino, and we now know the home has ties to the artist The Weeknd. Scott Reif live in Air 7 HD with details. Scott.
Yeah, Rachel, this is the home in question. Now, you see the emblem there on the basketball court. That's a record label of The Weeknd. And then you see the guard shack. You see a chair that's toppled over. And then you see what appear to be evidence markers. Those could be shell casings. We don't know for sure. We can't tell with our camera. But we can tell they're investigating in the back of the home. LAPD officers are here. About 2:45 this morning, there was a shooting. The security guard was shot. Transported. Condition is unknown. So it's unclear right now if the security guard was shot during some sort of attempted robbery or burglary into the home, or if that security guard had been targeted here. We'll open up a little bit out of this shot and show you. It's reportedly a $12 million home that is believed to be owned by a music industry executive with ties to The Weeknd. So right now, LAPD officers are investigating. Again, we have no information yet on the security guard except for he was shot and transported.
Now this is way off topic, but I low-key want that like for my backyard. I like when they have like those big stones and then there's grass in the middle. I see that a lot. I think that's a dope look. $12 million house. The bigger question is what is happening with all this gun violence? Like none of this rap beef is that important. Nobody, like we should never have another situation even remotely close to Biggie or Tupac. London Snap says, I always skip his cameo in Parker's episode. F. Brian. Not Drake did it. All right, y'all. I gotta go before I get a call from Drake's people. So is this different from what we saw this morning, guys? Yeah, this is actually a week ago. This was Cash XO, The Weeknd's manager. His security guard was shot at Cash XO's house. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I mean, we knew that when Nicki Minaj, Kanye, and Tekashi there was a music video set that was shot up, but I think that was affiliated to Tekashi, who has ties to like gang members and stuff. So this stuff has just been going on. Yeah. I'm ready for it to be over, to be honest with you. Y'all have a good day. I'm 7 minutes over. I'll see y'all tomorrow for sure, though. Have a good one.